crowd pours into the famous New York arena to see them go after each other. Now, Kim is the man on the left with the sideburns. And here comes Kim, looking very intent as he stalks the bouncing boy from the Pampas. Rocca's stylish jumps are one of his trademarks, and he's one of the biggest names in professional wrestling today. Neither man can get a grip, and the Argentinian bounds away. Rocca, of course, is barefoot. He likes to feel with his toes. Kim, on the other hand, likes to squeeze with his arms. He has a penchant for breaking backs. Rocca continues to show the crowd and Kim what an elusive fellow he is. A slippery lad of perpetual motion, he often puzzles a bigger opponent by his activity. Rocca's leaps and squats and rollings make him a difficult man to grab. And if you grab him the wrong way, of course you're in trouble. Everyone's enjoying it, and now the big Rocca is riding piggyback with a headlock on Lou Kim's skull. Now let's see how the big Californian gets out of this one. Whoops, there he goes. Now, Kim is a pretty tough customer. 262 pounds. He weighs 40 more than Rocca. And he figures he's taken all he can stand from that South American. Now, this is a cue for Kim to start dishing it out. Pong. Rocca has been rocked. And now, in Kim's mind, one good blow deserves another. Wow. And Rocca goes down. But he isn't so groggy that he's ready to be pinned as yet. Now Kim has that classic full Nelson, but Rocca sends him over the ropes. And now we're all set for the wind-up. A flying block by Rocca does the trick. Kim is all wound up. Help! Help! These cords are killing me. Referee Johnny Guerin gives him a helping hand. Whoops, how do we get out of this? And Rocca all raring to go. California, here he comes. Ah, that one seems to have knocked the stuffing out of Kim. See if we can get him out. Another block, and he's retied. Kim fails to get back into the ring before he's counted out. And so, Rocca and Lou Thesz will now meet on January 5th in another big bout. Rocca's the winner and expresses pleasure with a big victory leap. Kim objects, but he's overruled. It's another triumph for the Samson from South America, Zainor Rocca, who enjoys a night of grappling glory in Madison Square Garden. A wrestling feature in the Garden. Primo Carnera of Italy versus the barefoot bad man from the Argentine, Antonino Rocca. Rocca's a boy with a lot of bounce. Look at him jump around down there. Well, maybe it's just the sheer joy of going barefoot. Cartwheel by Rocca to confuse the enemy. Now we're getting down to brass tacks, with Big Carnera getting in a few licks at close range. He hadn't forgotten the boxing skill. Take that, you barefooted menace, you. Hey, but look out for those feet. Primo won't use his feet because he's got powerful elbows. Now Rocca tackles the big guy, and for a moment, it appears as though the Argentinian has the giant Italian pinned to the mat. But it takes a lot to prim Carnera. Now he rolls out of trouble. Looks like more punishment for Primo, but he's got a bead there on Rocca's head. And a biff from Carnera's knee. That makes Rocca woozy. And there's a full Nelson. Rocca's really in trouble now. Well, let's sit down, lads. Primo wants to play. A little scissors on the Argentinian's tummy. That Rocca's a resourceful guy. He's one of the best wrestlers in the game today. A jab in the big guy's throat, and Rocca's a free man. So far, no falls, no knockouts, and no to be the world's champion. Well, here we go. That's Rocca, a bounding barefoot lad weighing 224 pounds. Thez weighs 228. Both men are top-notch grapplers, and they face each other with caution and respect. Rocca's the barefoot boy. And there's a hip toss by Rocca. But Thez rolls out of trouble. Lou has a determined look, hasn't he? Many observers regard him as the #1 wrestler of modern times. Referee Johnny Guerin scolds Rocca for ungentlemanly conduct in the clinches. And there's another clinch on the rope. But this time it's Thez who rates the scolding from the referee. Brief pause, if you please, while Senor Rocca shakes the gremlins from his noggin and gets all ready to fight. Still another clinch, but this time it's a clean break. Now there's a close-up of Rocca as he punishes Lou with a headlock. Now it's Thez's turn. He's got a hammerlock on Rocca. Watch how Antonina breaks it. Then the fun begins. Watch these two giants start throwing each other around. Look out! Thez bridges his way off the canvas. Whoa! Rocca goes down hard. Thez is on him like a flash. But there's still no decision. The two big rivals continue to work each other over. Thez comes off the rope, takes a wicked spill. But he's up before the count. He's groggy. Rocca gives him another backbreaker. Poor Thez. Here comes Rocca in again, and he heaves him out of the ring. But now Rocca's having trouble with the referee. Ignoring warnings by the referee, he clobbers Thez more and more, and then lofts him out of the ring again. You can't pull that stuff on the referee. Rocca is disqualified, and Thez is declared the victor. The big guy from St. Louis has his hand raised in triumph. Thez is still the champion as far as the records is concerned. As for Rocca, boy, he's burned up. And no wonder. He figures he won a wrestling match, but he lost a wrestling rhubarb. Wrestling night at Madison Square Garden. A return match between those two famous stars, Antonina Rocca of the Argentine and Lou Thez of St. Louis. That's Thez coming out. He's recognized as world's champion by the National Wrestling Association. But Rocca, the barefoot boy from Buenos Aires, has thousands of fans who consider him the champ. These men are evenly matched in weight. Thez weighs 228 pounds, and Rocca is 3 pounds lighter at 225. Last time these men met in the Garden, the winner was Thez on a technical foul. This is a 2 out of 3 match. And that's a body block thrown in by Rocca. Thez rolls away. Referee Johnny Guerin has difficulty in keeping Rocca away. Thez doesn't feel too good right now. That's Rocca bouncing around. He has remarkable feet. Right now, he has an arm lock on him. There's the pressure. Johnny Guerin looking for a possible fall. Boom. That's Lou Thez. Rocca always anxious to get those feet to play if he can. He accounts for his nimbleness of foot through his soccer playing. Now they're getting pretty rough on the ropes. And Johnny Guerin this time warns Thez. Big crowd at the Garden watching this bout, and there is a nice kick in the chin. Rocca says, "What's the matter with that?" Guerin says, "You mustn't do it." Rocca still anxious to get those feet into play. Well, there's a left to the head. Guerin again warns Rocca. That's Rocca on the bottom. But both shoulders are not touching. And then Rocca rolls over to take command, but they roll under the ropes, and the referee makes them break. Now it's getting late in the bout. There's a flying drop kick by Rocca. And another. Now Rocca goes in for his famed Argentine backbreaker. There it is. He'll bounce him up and down on his shoulders. Down he goes. But it doesn't have the effect. And again they roll under the rope. And the referee breaks them. Up they are again, ready to go. And after 46 minutes of wrestling, both men claim a fall apiece. But before either one can pin the other for a decision, the curfew intervenes to end the match. The epitome of gallantry, Rocca offers Thez his hand. No wonder they're friendly. In this battle of wrestling titans, nobody wins and nobody loses. Thez and Rocca wind up even Steven. A wrestling exhibition in Madison Square Garden. The famed Antonino Rocca, the barefoot boy of the Argentine, meets that giant of a man, Don Jonathan. Big Don, 280 pounds of heft, is from Salt Lake City, and he doesn't waste much time in trying to clobber the daylights out of Rocca. Zowie, but look out for that rebound. That big bad boy from Utah is now faced with the typical Rocca tactic. If they're too big to reach with your hands, get up there and squeeze their brains out. Over the ropes for Rocca. And a playful little kick, too. South American is back in there now to fight, but he's earned a little vengeance from that angry giant. Now there's a nice close-up of Jonathan, one of the long hairs of wrestling. Boom, those dancy-fancy feet of Antonino Rocca. They're sure shaking up that haircut. Mrs. Jonathan's boy is really furious. But what can you do against educated insteps? Rocca's talented right down to his toes. Zingo! And the big boy has him cornered. Parting kick leaves Rocca just a little woozy. What's that monster going to do next? Well, he's coming back to batter his little friend again. Ah, the joy of it all. Now it's Jonathan who's throwing his weight. The classic maneuver to soften your buddy up for a body slam. Come on, Rocca, how about testing the canvas? 280 pounds of knee punching. But that's not enough for lovable Don. He climbs the ropes to get a better grip on the law of gravity. What? No target? That nearly broke his kneecap. Which leg was it, my friend? Rocca tries a twist of his own. That's too much for the big boy to bear. Jonathan calls for an end to the bone setting, and Antonino Rocca is the happier wrestler in Madison Square Garden.
There he gets a 3 count.
A wrestling headliner takes the New York limelight when England's Lord Leslie Carlton meets Johnny Barend of Rochester, New York, in Madison Square Garden. That's his lordship getting instructions from his Hindu Swami. Carlton is one of the few professional wrestlers who thus employs the wisdom of the Orient. Johnny Barend, on the other hand, depends solely on native American know-how. Johnny gets an arm lock on Carlton, who in turn gets a word from his Swami, and thereupon spins his way out of trouble. Once more, Barend is working over his lordship's poor right arm. And when the British Blue Bud seeks to reach the ropes, well, the referee seeks to foil him. Carlton is Britain's gift to the wrestling public. Although he may be a nobleman, he most certainly is not a gentleman. And Johnny Barend is finding this out. Again, Lord Carlton is warned, and the crowd agrees with Barend to let him have it. And now it's Carlton's turn. But Johnny gets out from under. Lord Carlton, a proud but angry pair, chases him clear across the ring. You see, his lordship considers all American wrestlers to be boors. He treats them like dogs. Now, there's Barend, and he's feeling like a cur. Now, the referee has words with this member of nobility who's so enraged that he even tries to pull out Barend's dentures. Again, his sneering lordship turns a deaf ear on the referee. Another jolt for Johnny. But now the waltz begins. It's time for Carlton Capers. Aha! Drop kick hits the Englishman. Barend is on him like lightning, but Lord Carlton is not an easy man to pin. And now the garden crowd sees his lordship pleading for mercy. It seems that he just can't take it. But who can feel sorry for a Britisher who treats a handsome American lad like this? And now it's Barend who's coming off the ropes to batter his man. Carlton goes over the ropes, but despite his sacrilege, his lordship goes to his corner for advice from the Hindu Swami. The Swami isn't talking, but his eyes tell Carlton what to do. Apparently, he told Lord Carlton to suffer, but that's what his lordship is doing right now. The indignity of it all, an English pair as the fall guy. That's the American drop kick, and again, Johnny Barend is over his foe. But Carlton is made of stern, unpinnable stuff. Moments later, Carlton has Barend on the canvas. And when the ref fails to call it a fall, the Englishman is furious. He forgets his breeding, background, and education to slug it out toe-to-toe. And this you don't learn at Oxford. A drop-kick finale by the Britisher is the climax of the match. The referee intercedes, and after talk, it's agreed that the match is a draw. Lord Carlton doesn't like it, but as another famous Englishman might say, all's well that ends well in Madison Square Garden. A grappling thriller highlighted by two mighty men from the Middle West, Killer Kowalski of Detroit and Mr. America, Gene Stanley of Chicago. Stanley is the blonde boy, of course, and Killer Kowalski, his opponent, is also billed as the Polish Giant, and his dimensions warrant that nickname. The Killer stands 6 feet 7 inches tall. He weighs 275 pounds. A lot of meat and potatoes went into that makeup. Say, a lot of temper, too. Okay, the fuss is over and wrestling resumed. Kowalski is called Killer for obvious reasons. He murders other wrestlers, as blonde Gene Stanley is finding out right now. Stanley's having a rare old time. He won't be pinned, but watch the Killer have fun. Now the drama changes. Stanley is back on his feet, but not for long. Kowalski's having fun again. He's just a picture of playful innocence. I didn't hit him, ref, honest. He just pushed his face at me. Well, here we go again, but watch out for Kowalski. He is getting clobbered for a change. Turns out that Gene Stanley has that killing instinct, too. That was so much fun that the referee can hardly restrain him from doing some more. Here's Kowalski back. Just as full of play as ever. No fall, and once more our wrestlers are embraced. This is a mashed potato time. Kowalski being the guy who's getting creamed. Busy little Gene has ideas. He doesn't know that the Killer is about to charge. Did it. Stanley is still being hammered. He can't stand another blow. Well, maybe one more. It's all over. Killer Kowalski is the winner. Stanley's a little annoyed, but of course that's only natural. No one likes to get kicked in the chops. And victory goes to Killer Kowalski, the Polish Giant from Canada and Chicago. A rising wrestler who's knocking him dead in New York City. An engaging young man from Minnesota takes on a massive man of meanness, correctly and nicely called Killer Kowalski. Kowalski is that tall fellow with the lighter-colored trunks. He would, if he could, tear Gagne into filet mignon. Poor Gagne gets snaggled for a little more necking, and the question is, can he ever break that fond embrace? Not yet, lover boy. Once again, the Killer, and Gagne's getting groggy. Uh-oh, it's time for Kowalski to groan. Old Vern just loves that game of footsies. This is his way of giving him a Charlie horse. Meanwhile, the bout continues, and Gagne is once more a punching bag. It's pretty hard to dent that big boy. This Kowalski is a pretty hefty human being, but he can be thrown, and Vern's the man to do it. How's that for bowling him over? Now the angry Vern is in on his foe for sure. Gilly Kowalski's got a stinger on his head. Making faces doesn't help. Kowalski's simply a gone guy. The bout is over, and the killer lies flat on his back. It's another victory for the gallant Gagne of wrestling renown.
A total weight of 400. Let's see. Is this correct? No, I believe I've got it the wrong total weight here. 425 pounds, the total weight. Over on the right-hand side of the screen, introducing from Dillon, South Carolina, Rufus R. Jones, and his partner, the Freight Train, and his partner from Memphis, Tennessee, Jerry Bryant, going against him at a total of 415 pounds from San Francisco with their manager, Jimmy Hart, the Dirty White Boys. This match, 1 fall 15.
Even there, George hadn't changed a bit, had he?
Oh, indeed. And there's Mike Ruby refereeing. I wonder what happened to Mike. He should be here tonight, too.
I think he's up in Las Vegas.
Oh, is that it?
Tito has lost a little hair at that time.
I have, too, Dick. I don't know. You haven't. You're one of the lucky ones. George, I say, he never lost any, did he?
No, he didn't. He didn't really.
He never lost his color, either. He was really one of the colorful boys.
Snaps some air. And drop kicks. Glances off the shoulder. Another one off the side. This one into the face. Dives in for a press. One. Whoop. Outside the ropes goes Gorgeous George. There's a drop kick that backfired. The impetuous Rita Romero. He's hurt. Puts the back of his head on the mat. George, of course, takes advantage of this. It's a body slam. Murders one and dives in for a press. 2, 3, and that'll be all for Rita Romero.